Now I'm going to demonstrate how to make a bowl using a slab of clay that I will roll out using a rolling pin. If you have a board or a cutting board that's wider than this, I recommend using that when you're trying to roll out a slab of clay. My cutting board would work. I'm going to use a piece of canvas here. You could use thick fabric too if you have that at home. So I'm using a regular rolling pin that doesn't have any varnish or paint or glaze or anything on it. And I'm going to just put even pressure and kind of roll out this slab of clay. I'm going to turn it and flip it so that I'm getting all sides kind of evenly pressed. And I want to get this no thinner than 1/4 of an inch. Thinner than 1/4 of an inch is going to be a little bit too fragile. Now, I want to make this round. So I'm just going to use this bowl, take my toothpick or my skewer, and cut right through the clay to get a round circle. And I'm going to cut off this extra bit. Now, because I want to do some decorations in this bowl, I'm going to take my flowers that I found from outside. Here's some of my leaves that I found. And then I'm going to take my rolling pin and very gently just roll through. I'm not trying to get this too much thinner. I just want to make sure that those leaves and flowers are definitely stuck and making an imprint in my bowl. So I'm just using the tip of this knife to kind of dig out some of the pieces here. Now, if you end up with little buds like I've got stuck in here, you're going to want to pick out as much as you can. So I'm just using the tip of my little skewer to pull out all the little buds that I've gotten stuck in the clay. Now, if there's a few little pieces, it's not a big deal. They'll burn off in the kiln. But for the most part, we want to try and not leave too much organic material because it will create smoke and stuff inside the kiln, and that's not great. So I have my design in my slab of clay. I'm going to take the very same metal bowl and I'm going to take a piece of newspaper and I'm just going to drape it over the bowl so that the clay won't stick to the metal bowl. I'm just going to turn it and press it. So once I've formed this around here, I can do one of two things. I can say I'm done and let it dry, or I can do something like add a foot, which I think I am going to do. So I have this extra clay here, and I'm going to add a little foot. Again, I'm going to use my little skewer. So there we go. I've cut out this strip of clay, and I'm going to arrange it at the bottom of my bowl here in a circle. And I've cut enough that I have a little bit of an overlap, which I did intentionally. And now what I'm going to do is take my skewer and cut at a diagonal through both pieces of clay to the bowl bottom. And then I'm going to remove this extra bit down here. And when I put that back on top, I have a very nice ring that is complete. So now I'm going to mark this ring with my skewer just by drawing very gently on the inside and outside as a guide for where I need to score. So now I can take that off, flip it upside down here, and I'm going to score using the tip of my skewer or toothpick inside the line that I drew for myself. And I'm just really roughing it up here. I'm going in multiple directions to make these score marks. And this is going to help me stick the foot ring on the bottom of the foot so that it stays there. You can't just kind of stick clay to clay without any kind of a glue. And so the glue that we use is actually clay and water mixed together. So I have my sponge here, and I might squeeze out my sponge just a little bit and use my sponge to kind of paint over where I've scored. And I want the water in there. You can also use your finger, but you want to be pretty generous. And then you're going to score again, exactly the same way, just really roughing it up. And you'll notice now that there's some water in there, that it is a little bit like gooier, and that's a good thing. And when you've scored both sides, you can take your foot ring and place it right back on top, and you're going to just kind of put a little pressure downwards so that that foot sticks nicely all the way around. And you're going to smooth it. You'll be able to kind of wiggle it initially, but as the glue sets up, it will not be quite so mobile. And then what I think I'm going to do is take my sponge, squeeze it out all the way, and use my sponge to smooth this foot. I'm just kind of gripping it like this and smoothing it as I go, smoothing the inside here. And what I'm really trying to do is get rid of all the extra slip that water and clay mix together. As I'm pushing down, sometimes it kind of sneaks out the sides there. I don't want that pooling and collecting anywhere. I just want to smooth that all in. Now that I've attached my foot ring, I do want to sign my name on the bottom before I call it quits here while the clay is still malleable. I'm going to let this dry upside down a little bit so that it can set up a little bit more. And then what I can do is pop it off this bowl. So if I support the bottom, flip it over, I should be able to set it down and it will stay. And now I can kind of smooth the rim here. So I hope that was helpful for you. If you have any questions about how to work with clay at home, please feel free to send us an email or give me a call, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. The last thing that you get to choose before you hand back your pot is what color glaze you'd like to finish your piece in. And we have a couple options. You have bright sky blue, ocean green, a shiny black, floating blue, white, turquoise, or pink. So you may pick one of those colors and we'll finish your bowl off nicely, and then you'll be able to use it at home. Thank you so much for participating in this year's Empty Bowls event. We hope that you've enjoyed this project. We hope that it's been a great way for you to kind of get in touch with clay and get in touch with your own creativity, and that you will have made something you are proud of and that you'll be able to use every day. Thank you for participating.